Are humans the rulers of the earth? So, if there is a creature, by domesticating humans, just like humans domesticated dogs and sheep, pigs, cattle, horses, does that mean he is the ruler of the earth? So, if such a creature exists, what do you think he is? Is it necessarily a higher civilization than humans? So now I tell you, this creature does exist, even all over the world. About 30,000 years ago, with humanity's last relative, the fall of the Neanderthals, the only human subfamily on this planet. Only lonely humans are left. Anthropologists have concluded many reasons for this, trying to unravel the human ancestor. Why is he the only human to survive? But can't get the final answer. Every physical ability of this man, like survivability, compatibility, cold resistance, demand for food, etc., compared to other humans, they are not the strongest. Even paleoanthropologists have found the brain we were once so proud of, not the greatest of all humans. However, why are you in a cruel environment of survival of the fittest? Eliminate other humans? Interestingly, the mystery remains unsolved. It follows, but with other humans, extinction appeared almost at the same time. Another mystery of the origin of species. He is deeply bound to the human ancestor. It can be said that it may be his appearance, collaboration with human ancestor, that made us the only humans alive today, even the current ruler of this planet. Hello everyone and welcome to Many Strange Tales. Today we will talk about another possibility for species evolution. Not the strong survive, it's survival of the weak. 1959, cytologist and geneticist at the Academy of Sciences of the former Soviet Union. The first domesticated animal for humans. How did dogs change from wolves to dogs? This question is curious, because this problem persists in the evolution of the complete opposite of the survival of the strong, survival of the weak. It is well known that dogs evolved from wolves. Dogs and wolves share 99% genetic similarity. There's no reproductive isolation. The mainstream believes that about 15,000 years ago, some of the wolves discovered, near the gathering place of humans, often without hunting, to get some of the food left over by humans. For example, animal bones do not eat clean meat, therefore, these wolves began to inhabit human colonies, and as humanity gradually discovered, these wolves don't attack themselves and sit behind the surroundings. Whenever danger occurs, if there are other predators approaching, can also warn or fight, and they started feeding them. Slowly these wolf-breeding offspring began to be born in the gathering place of mankind. Humans left behind those relatives who were obedient. From generation to generation, the dog has gradually evolved as a species. So dogs are human serendipity, the product of the domestication of Giagaija. It is also the only one so far, such a successful domesticated species. However, Viliev believes that if dogs were domesticated by humans, then there are so many creatures in nature. Why only dogs can be tamed so successfully? Although humans later also domesticated sheep, pigs, and cattle, chickens, ducks, but strictly speaking, it can only be reared and semi-domesticated, except for dogs. No creature is born close to humans. And humans 15,000 years ago, not even civilization has formed. It is impossible to have the consciousness of a domesticated animal. Decided to find out. How were dogs domesticated from wolves? And whether or not humans can take an animal, tamed to be like a dog. Success. So, what kind of animal? First, Viliev and his research, the team analyzed the dog and other domesticated animals, species that are thought to be domesticated. There must be 6 things in common. Not picky eaters grow fast. Desire to reproduce. It's not aggressive, it's social. There is a strict hierarchy. Therefore, the experimental team began to search for it meets these 6 characteristics. Doe has searched all over nature except for dogs. The team only found 2 types of symbols. A large non-entry hole that meets these 6 conditions. One is the fox. The other one we'll talk about later. After species confirmation, researchers first in the wild found some Siberian tigers. The foxes were then transported to Experimental Research Institute for breeding. They first took the 30 male tigers and 100 females. The foxes were randomly grouped, divided into 2 groups. After a while, the foxes began to breed foxes. Then the experimenters tested the little foxes, determined whether it is friendly or fearful towards humans. For example, those who are afraid to run away when they classified as unfriendly without running away, even actively seek human touch. Classified as a friendly group. Pay attention, this is the first time humans have intervened to group. The previous 130 foxes were just randomly assigned. So among these second generation and foxes, here's the amazing thing, completely produced in the natural environment. As for the natural environment, why is there such a reaction? Nature-friendly group, we'll talk about that later, because friendliness is not conducive to survival. The researchers then joined the friendly group, constantly replenish friends, good little fox, and vice versa. These 2 groups of foxes continue to breed. The third generation of little foxes continue to be divided into friendly and non-friendly groups, until the 8th. After the 10th generation, these friends, the appearance of the foxes in the good group began to change. Their hair gradually turned reddish-brown. The ears are starting to back away. The tail starts to curl. The mouth got shorter, the teeth got smaller. Legs are also shorter. That's weird. Just being friendly to humans. Others, regardless of food or environment, are exactly the same. Why after several generations? Will their physiology change? Changes in the physiological structure of species. Shouldn't it be for a better survival? And here's what's even more incredible. These friendly little foxes, and they bred until about the 15th generation. The researchers found that the kidneys of these little foxes decreased hormone activity. This means that their personality starts to become more stable, and their active levels of serotonin increase. This means that their dopamine production starts to increase. And the researchers found that when the breeder brings the fox home, they were all very happy, very willing to get close to people. Interacting with people is like being a loyal dog. And they bred all the way up to the 20th generation. So what happened? And here's the comparison. The researchers found that friendship group speaking fox, already completely unfriendly group of fox, almost to species. And not only that, even the breeding cycles of these 2 groups of things have changed. The breeding cycle of the friendly group gradually became twice a year, maybe one more time. It can breed 6 to 10 young foxes. The natural group is once a year, 3 to 6 at a time. Ultimately, the research team found that after testing serum in the fuel consumption, the hormone secretion was more than 5 times higher than that of the general group. This means their personality, really from a wild fox, almost turned into a dog. Even the behavior of these friendly groups, a lot has changed. They will naturally approach humans and do some behaviors that make humans happy, like goodbye. Fawning behavior like turning your belly in circles, and this is without any researchers rolling over. The whole experiment took 40 years. During this experiment, the habitat of 2 groups of foxes, diet and everything is the same. Humans didn't intervene. Only after every normal fox birth. Differentiate between the friendly group and the first group. Then, why in natural circumstances do foxes have a naturally friendly group? Let's go back to the question of the domesticated dog. If the ancestors of dogs, it was found because there was no food. Humans can give him food and actively choose friendliness. Then the fox's experiment proved that. Maybe not. Because these foxes have no shortage of food. They don't have to be nice. Finally, the experimenters passed the inspection. For these beneficial fox genes, it was discovered that they may have a genetic disease. It's called domestication syndrome. This is something that originates from the embryo, early developmental embryonic stem cell. In particular, the abnormal function of neural genes. This led to handle of sore CSE gene. organisms with this genetic mutation. What are the characteristics? They get smaller. The coat color will become lighter. Smaller teeth, nose and mouth short, droopy ears, shorter estrus cycles, even in heat at any time. Appearance and personality. Maintain the appearance and personality of adolescents. Longer, and they will be less aggressive. Vigilant and docile. Little curiosity, easy to satisfy, and compared with the SORCS1 gene of another common group of there foxes. Is no mutation. Eventually, there were 45,000 foxes in the entire instance. More than 60% of these genes are mutated. Became a fox like a dog. And this experiment, which is exactly what we said at the beginning, for humans 15,000 years ago, role is the answer to how to domesticate the dog as a species. It's not a domesticated dog. He was born with a genetic defect. A wolf that cannot survive in a pack actively chose humans. Well known, wolves have a strict hierarchy. The strongest one is the wolf king. Enjoy the highest food distribution for dogs, and those who are weak, the least aggressive. They may not even get food, then starve to death. It's also a disadvantaged species by natural selection. Unfit species will be eliminated from the population to ensure the genetic integrity of the population. Here's an example of something like the uncanny valley effect. Humans will respond to those who are extremely human-like. But some strange people feel fear. There is a saying, it is believed that there is something in the genes of human ancestors, genes for possible martyrs, such as the rejection of people with genetic diseases. And that's normal. It's meritocracy. And these genetically defective wolves also want to survive. They can't get food. You go out on your own. Gradually they discovered there will be a lot of discarded human gathering places, such as animal bones and other food. So, in the human gathering place, began to appear, eliminated from these wolves, genetically defective wolf, and due to their genetic defect, as we just practiced, naturally non-aggressive and more friendly. Humans didn't expel them. These wolves gather more and more. Humans also discovered that they could assist themselves in hunting, so they started rearing. And these wolves gradually populated human colonies, like a fox. These genetically defective wolves gradually. Breeding produces dogs that are more friendly to humans. So, it's not like humans tamed wolves to produce dogs. It's a genetically defective wolf. For self-survival, self-domesticated into a dog. Once this research conclusion is published, anthropologist Richard Dewar, professor of history at Harvard University, surprising discovery, perfect for domestication. It's not actually a fox. Dogs, sheep, and the like do not enter the winter. And it fits 5 compared to the fox. Humans meet all 6 conditions. This is the beginning. Experimental, no choice. The more perfect research species. Reasons for conducting research. Let's compare the evolution of humans. They get smaller, lighten coat, smaller teeth, nose and mouth short, droopy ears, shorter estrus cycles, appearance and personality, maintain adolescence, period of appearance and personality. Longer than that? Domesticated animals even actively choose mass reproduction. Let's look at some of the animals that we domesticate. Dog, sheep, cows, chickens, ducks, etc. Without the human needs to survive. The ancestors of these animals in the wild will not choose to multiply. It's like the fox experiment. Family group of foxes. The reproductive cycle changes all the same. So here's the interesting question. Were humans also domesticated? And the answer is probably yes. Human, it was the first domesticated species on Earth. And what tamed us was not some advanced civilization. It was wheat. Now, isn't that incredible? Same as the fox domestication experiments 15,000 years ago. We began to harm humans, conducted the exact same experiment. According to the mainstream theory that humans about 15,000 years ago, the event known as the New Fairy Tomb took place on Earth. Global cooling event at the end of the last ice age. Lack of food? Human ancestors are hot. I had to go around looking for something to eat. And in an accident, eating the seeds of a plant that fell into the ground. Later, it it was found that the seeds of this plant could be used. So it started in places where there are more of this plant. Fixed life, they formed the first settled tribes, and this plant. That's what we grow today. Edible leftovers of barley and wheat. Wild wheat. However, after this wild to grain wheat the seed heads are very fragile, extremely fragile, when a broken seed falls to the ground. Many times humans have not yet collected. If it just gets windy or rains, it breaks. So we didn't get seeds a lot of the time. So at that time, it's not the main and only thing that causes people. Then it happened, about 10,000 years ago. Those fallen into the broken seeds. Seeds in the soil start breeding. There are seeds that are less likely to break. Do you remember the fox experiment just now? Exactly the same, two wild veins. Because of the appearance of humans, the domestication syndrome began to emerge. His genes also started to mutate. Then humans started collecting these permanently. Seeds of a stronger origin. Some are used for food. Some are used for cultivation. So human food becomes stable. Humans also began to gradually enter a fixed residential farm. Civilization arrived around 8,000 years ago. More interesting is coming. Again, because of an accident. 2 grains of wheat and primordial reproduction. Isolated tuberous wheat of the genus Egelarium. Hybridization occurred. Pay attention. 2 veins and nodular veins are not the same. There can be no appreciation between different species. However, there was another accident. These 2 are different. They interbred to create new species. The precursor to wheat as we know it today. But because the gene of the 2 veins is tetraploid, has a total of 28 chromosomes of AABB, the ganglia are diploid. It has 14 chromosomes. So breaking reproductive isolation in the event of the offspring of the hybrid is triploid. They have 21 chromosomes. And where does that lead? This will cause the accident. Hybrid child wheat. They don't reproduce because chromosomes need to be paired, then evenly divided into 2 offspring cells. And the hybrid wheat, US, the chromosomes are both from 2 different species. So it cannot be paired to produce the next generation. Take a popular example, the mule. Okay, interesting things are about the accident came again and again. This unbred hybrid wheat. Suddenly, the chromosome doubling happened. Originally, ABD had a total of 21 chromosomes, and that doubles to 40 chromosomes of AABBDD. And B and BD and D pair with each other. So our current wheat was produced. Existing only in a smaller region of Asia, perhaps tens of thousands or even millions of years, that haven't changed. Due to the appearance and use of human beings, 3 consecutive unexpected genetic mutations, it became, and now it's all over the third most productive crop in the world. And because of his genetic mutation, Homo sapiens became the only agricultural civilization. Human access to food, compared to other extinct humans, more diverse and stable. Eventually, Homo sapiens became the only species, the surviving human species. Dogs and sheep domesticated almost simultaneously. Other creatures such as pigs and cows. Humans who have settled and their food has begun to stabilize. Launched a brilliant civilization of mankind. Certainly, so many sequential mutation coincidences. Except for the term domestication syndrome. There are other claims. We will talk about them separately later. But what if we reverse our thinking? Think about this question. Is it wheat that humans domesticated, or did wheat become domesticated? So as to transform themselves from an inconspicuous species that spans the world. After all, humans domesticated wolves into dogs, or the self-domestication of wolves. Become the dog that far outnumbers wolves all over the world. The same is true of cattle and sheep. What is the core essence of biology and genes? It's reproduction and survival. But then, and we can look at that in reverse, we will find it was originally just a hybrid wheat due to the appearance and use of humans. For better survival and reproduction, then humans must be made to settle down for him, and began to plant and maintain it. So he showed up again and again. Mutant domestication syndrome. Wheat doesn't like stone people. to cut the stones in the field clean. Wheat doesn't like to be fortified with other grasses. The maker has to start weeding and fertilizing. Wheat will get diseases, and people need to be dewormed and disease-proof. The wheat will thirst, and the man will drink water to water the field. The human essence is an ape. Are you better at climbing trees, chasing dang limbs? As a result, in order to take care of wheat cow's back pain. After the agricultural revolution, humans have a plethora of joint diseases, and to take care of the wheat, Homo sapiens had to settle down. Formation of a fixed agricultural civilization. If you look at it from the perspective of wheat, this short 10,000 years, by wheat, it became the third largest crop in the world. Was this self-domestication the most successful? The same is true for all parties, as we said at the beginning. Face other humans who have an advantage over others. Maybe because self-domestication was not complete, so they were eliminated, and the weaker human ancestors made humans. It is because of the completion of self-domestication. So instead of domesticating wheat, rather they domesticated each other. It can be said that wheat is the ancestor of humans, the strongest friend of other ancient humans. Okay, that's it for this episode. If you have any ideas, please discuss them in the comment area. Don't forget to support it. See you next time.